Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 13th of January. John Kerry asks India and Pakistan to ease tensions along border. Sri Lanka's new cabinet assumes office. And northern India celebrates Harvest Festival of Lohri with fervour. And now for all the details, US Secretary of State John Kerry has urged New Delhi and Islamabad to resume peace talks to de-escalate tensions on the border. Kerry, who is on a two-day visit to Pakistan, also pledged Washington's continued support to Islamabad to combat terrorism.
US Secretary of State John Kerry said the prevailing situation on the line of control between India and Pakistan is a matter of concern. He said both countries should make efforts towards resolving the issue peacefully.
We are concerned about the rise of the number of incidents on the border and line of control. Clearly, it is in everybody's interest to find a way to resolve these kinds of differences peacefully, and we encourage the parties to do so.
Appreciating the Pakistan Army for its crackdown on the Taliban and the Haqqani network in Waziristan, Kerry said eliminating every kind of terrorism from the region was in larger interest of everyone.
Terror groups like the Pakistani and Afghan Taliban, the Haqqani network, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and other groups continue to pose a threat not just to Pakistan and its neighbors, but also to the United States and the world. Pakistani forces deserve enormous credit for the ongoing military operations that they have already undertaken in North Waziristan and elsewhere. And these operations have already produced significant results. But make no mistake, the task is a difficult one and it is not done.
Kerry, who arrived in Pakistani capital Islamabad on Monday, met Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and Army Chief General Raheel Sharif. Kerry reportedly also discussed the situation in Afghanistan post the withdrawal of ISAF from the country with the political and military leadership of Pakistan.
After 13 months of enduring uncertainty with a hung parliament in Delhi, the upcoming provincial elections are being seen as a battle to reclaim lost prestige for the Common Man Party candidate and former state chief Arvind Kejriwal. Our political editor Smita Prakash has more in this report.
The Aam Aadmi Party, or the Common Man's Party, was euphoric about the announcement of the February 7th election date. The party is confident that the people of the Indian capital will vote them into power once again, even though they could not provide a stable government the last time they enjoyed power. The AAP has put up banners, posters and hoardings at major traffic intersections and street corners, as well as conducting door-to-door campaigning.
जब माननीय मोदी साहब के रैली में इनको दिख गया कि ना तो जनता आई, ना इनके पास दिल्ली के लिए कोई विजन है, ना जनता ने रिस्पॉन्ड किया, यहाँ तक कि जो इनके साथी मीडिया में थे उन्होंने भी कह दिया कि भाई आपके लहर नहीं है, तो इनको लग गया मरता क्या ना करता, आप चुनाव करा ही दो.
Winning in the Indian capital is a matter of prestige for any political party, especially so for the BJP led by Narendra Modi. Opinion polls indicate that Modi's BJP has a slender lead over Arvind Kejriwal's AAP, but the party lacks a strong chief minister candidate.
This question was asked to Bharatiya Janata Party when we contested for Maharashtra, when we were contesting for Haryana, when we were fighting elections in Jharkhand, and we saw as to how we emerged victorious in all these states.
Trailing behind the BJP and the AAP is the oldest political party in India, the Congress Party. Having governed Delhi for 3 terms of 15 years, they were booted out unceremoniously in the last election and have still not emerged out of that loss. The last election resulted in a hung verdict, with none of the 3 political parties able to provide a stable coalition government. This time it's a bipolar contest, with the BJP keen to win yet another state assembly election using its trump card, ace campaigner and the country's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Smita Prakash, South Asia Newsline, New Delhi.
India has strongly rejected Pakistan's allegations of spreading terrorism on its soil. This came after Pakistan Defence Minister Khwaja Asif claimed that India was supporting militant groups including the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan.
Pakistan Defence Minister Khwaja Asif said the Taliban militants who carried out the deadly terror attack on the Peshawar Army School were linked to India. Speaking to a Pakistani news channel on Monday, Asif also went on to accuse New Delhi of spreading unrest in southwest Balochistan, terming it a low-intensity war. Asif, however, dodged the question when he was asked for evidence to back up his claims.
वो जो दुश्मन हमारा बना हुआ है, उस दुश्मन के ताल्लुक जो हैं या रिश्ते नाते जो हैं वो भारत से भी मिलते हैं. भारत की एक्टिव इन्वॉल्वमेंट जो है बलूचिस्तान में और तालिबान के साथ जो है वो बिल्कुल साबित है.
Do you have evidence?
ये आप मुझसे वो बातें ना करें जो मैं नहीं कह सकता.
US Secretary of State John Kerry, who is on a visit to Pakistan, said such claims are just assumptions. Defense experts in India reiterated that Pakistan's claims were baseless and the country has been exposed globally as the hub of terrorism.
Surprised to see this statement. We all know that Pakistan has created all these militant organizations and Pakistan has become the international hub of terrorism. Terrorists from Pakistan going all over the Islamic and non-Islamic world, and creating terror. Terror is a part of Pakistani politics. Pakistan is using.
This is not the first time the political leadership in Islamabad made such unsubstantiated claims against New Delhi, accusing it of trying to destabilize the country.
Sri Lanka's newly appointed cabinet assumed office on Tuesday. President Maithripala Sirisena has a cabinet of 45 ministers, considerably less in number from the previous government.
The interim cabinet, including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, took oath on Monday in a special event held in the Presidential Secretariat in capital Colombo. All eyes seem to be on former national cricket team captain Arjuna Ranatunga, who has been given the charge of ports and shipping and has emerged as a prominent face in the new government. The cabinet comprises of 27 federal ministers, 10 junior ministers and 8 deputy ministers. President Maithripala Sirisena has pledged to abolish the executive presidency that gave his predecessor Mahinda Rajapaksa unprecedented power. He said the new cabinet is for the 100-day program and the permanent cabinet will be appointed after that.
අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩලය අපි දින 100ක වැඩපිළිවෙලක් සඳහා අපේ తాවකාලික වැඩපිළිවෙල. අපි ඊළඟට දින 100 වැඩපිළිවෙලෙන් පසුව මහමැතිවරණයකට ගොස් පිහිටවන ආණ්ඩුව තමයි ස්ථිර අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩලයක් සමග අපේ මැතිවරණ ප්‍රකාශනයේ සඳහන් ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනයේ අනුව ඒ වගේම දින 100 වැඩපිළිවෙල තුල තවත් දීර්ඝව කළ යුතු කාර්යයන් කිරීම සඳහා අපි මේ වගකීම රටේ ජනතාවගෙන් බාර අරගෙන තිබෙන්නේ.
President Sirisena, who defeated Rajapaksa in the polls last week, has also promised to enact a right to information bill and lifted a ban on news websites blocked by the previous regime.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has called Begum Khaleda Zia, the chief of Bangladesh Nationalist Party, a queen of terror and militancy. The battle of two ladies who head major political units in Bangladesh shows no signs of abating.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has warned opposition leader Khaleda Zia of dire consequences as Bangladesh unrest tracks. Prime Minister Hasina at a rally in capital Dhaka on Monday took a dig and blamed her arch-rival and BNP chief Zia of spreading terror and militancy in the country.
উনি ওই জামাতকে সাথে নিয়ে জঙ্গিবাদী কাজ করে যাচ্ছেন. উনি জঙ্গিদের নেত্রী হয়েছেন, কোন রাজনৈতিক দলের নেতা উনি হতে পারেন নাই. উনি সন্ত্রাসের নেত্রী, জঙ্গির নেত্রী. উনি আজকে মানুষ খুন করেন.
BNP had enforced a strike on Monday, which was in addition to the ongoing national transport blockade announced by Zia early this month to protest her besieging by the government. The indefinite shutdown, which entered its sixth day on Tuesday, has already resulted in 13 deaths over the past week. Prime Minister Hasina came down heavily on Zia after BNP refused to call off its blockade, disrupting the peaceful observation of the ongoing Biswa Ijtema, the second biggest Islamic congregation in the world.
Indian Space Research Organization's Mars Orbiter mission, the Mangalyaan, won the 2015 Space Pioneer Award of US-based National Space Society. The ISRO was honored for its successful unmanned Mars mission, which made India the only country to achieve the feat in its maiden attempt. The award will be presented during the National Space Society's 34th International Space Development Conference to be held in Toronto in May. The Mangalyaan, which was launched in November 2013, was one of the cheapest space missions ever at a cost of $74 million. It successfully entered the Red Planet's orbit in September 2014. Pope Francis has called for reconciliation of Sri Lanka. The Pope began his Asia tour from the island nation, which is still recovering from a nearly 3-decade-long ethnic conflict.
A mood of elation and joy prevailed in Sri Lanka as Pope Francis arrived in capital Colombo for the first leg of his week-long Asia tour on Tuesday. The Pope received a traditional welcome by newly elected President Maithripala Sirisena. In the first papal visit to Sri Lanka since the end of a civil war in 2009, the Pope called for pursuit of truth as part of a healing process between the religious communities of the country.
It is no easy task to overcome the bitter legacy of injustices, hostility, and mistrust left by the conflict. The process of healing also needs to include the pursuit of truth, not for the sake of opening all wounds, but rather as necessary means of promoting justice, healing, and unity.
The visit aims to focus on post-war reconciliation and interfaith harmony after a period of lingering ethnic violence. President Sirisena has also promised an end to growing repression of religious minorities in the island nation. The Pope is scheduled to visit Philippines before leaving Asia on January 19th.
Even as temperatures continued to dip, the traditional bonfires became the rallying point, bringing the much-needed warmth. Take a look at how the harvest festival of Lohri was celebrated with gusto.
Lohri was marked with song and dance as the day began with zeal and enthusiasm at most of the places. In northern holy city Amritsar, Lohri was a colourful one as girls dressed in traditional attire performed the folk dance Gidda, an integral part of the festival.
गिद्दा चल रहा है, पंगड़ा चल रहा है, बच्चे डांस कर रहे हैं, खुश हैं, लोहड़ी बाली गई है हमने और बच्चों को लोहड़ी बांटी है तो बच्चे बहुत खुश हैं।
लोहड़ी गर्ल्स ने हमने यहाँ पर कितना मजा किया, हमने यहाँ काइट्स उड़ाई, फुलियाँ ली, मूंगफली ली और हमने यहाँ पर गिद्दा डाला, भंगड़ा डाला और हमने ढोल के साथ भी मजे किए।
Lohri is celebrated to mark the harvesting of rabi crops and start of the end of winter season. According to traditions, people observe the festival with feasting, exchange of gifts and songs and dance around bonfires. Markets in northern Ludhiana saw last-minute shoppers buying items to celebrate the festival. Locals in Mumbai celebrated amid exuberance of loud drum beats. Many Bollywood biggies also joined the revelry, including veteran actor Jitendra. Bonfires, dance, music and offering of sweets, crisp rice and popcorn prepared on the bonfire are an integral part of festivities. It is mainly celebrated in northern states of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and Himachal Pradesh.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. John Kerry asks India and Pakistan to ease tensions along border. Sri Lanka's new cabinet assumes office. And Northern India celebrates Harvest Festival of Lohri with fervour. Now viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.